Asked for a video on time wasters. So here it is. Once I have an intention for what I want and I have boundaries, I am less likely to be exposed to time wasters. So the lady who asked for me to make another video on time wasters, I used to make these rant videos about my escort business about time wasters. And I would try to figure out how to not get triggered by them and how to not be contacted by them. And I finally realized I'm a slow learner sometimes that I was just too available and that I was inviting these people into my life by being too accessible. And by that I mean I had my phone number in my escort ads. I started realizing that removing my phone number would make me less accessible and that giving out my phone number is a privilege. I started seeing my phone number as something I give you that you've earned. So like being kind. So this is kind of the mindset. I'm whether it's a dating app or it's an escort ad, I'm inviting, um, I'm kind, and then my escort ad, I give people so many ways to verify me by having my Twitter, where I post every day, 3 different links to review sites, um, so people can verify me. So now it's up to the man to give me something, okay? And what they have to give me, they have to email me and they have to complete the booking form. And I correspond with them, but there are more boundaries, and I'm not as accessible. So that's one thing I learned. And I used to think I had to be, and I guess that comes maybe from being raised in the way that I had to be polite and answer everyone. And I learned as an adult I don't. So my whole motto is to go through life with an open heart, yet having some boundaries and requirements and standards as to how close people can get to me. I'm going to go on a little side tangent because I have made some videos about not giving out my number on a dating app until I've met the gentleman, because what many of them will do is try to bond over texting before we even met. And a lot of things can go wrong when people start to bond over texting. I had a Bumble coffee date the other day with a gentleman in his 40s who I was very impressed with. We're not going to be dating, but I think he's a cool person. I would love to find a woman that would be just right for him if I know any of my friends. But he agreed with me when I told him that about the texting, because he's been single for a while. He said, yeah, come to think of it, when I text women, like nothing good has ever come from it. I start trying to get to know them over text and we're texting, but that doesn't mean that we hit it off any better when we meet. And things can go wrong over texting. So it's not that young people text more, it's that young people have become desensitized to face interaction. And this particular gentleman, even though he's 40, gets all of his clients through word of mouth. He's not on social media because he believes that being so much on our phones isn't really healthy, and I agree with that. So um, that doesn't mean that I'm old or old school or traditional or whatever, not in the hip age, because I don't want to bond with guys over texting. I text people all the time. But what some of you younger people watching this, I'm going to invite you to consider where you're using texting because you're afraid or uncomfortable with face to face, in person interaction. And since I spend a lot of time face to face with people, communicating vulnerably, whether they're clients, family, or friends, there's a big difference between being in someone's energetic presence and being present with them versus just typing while I'm driving or sitting at work or something. I'm not offering my presence or my energy. So I'm just inviting you to kind of like interact more with people face to face and less on your phone. Um, So another thing that people will do, a lot of people don't know how to use texting properly. They don't know the texting etiquette, so they'll just like on the escort app when I had my phone number in there, they wouldn't say, "Oh, my name is, John Smith. I saw your ad. I would love to meet you." They'll be like, "Hey, are you available?" So like very like low skilled texting. These people don't even know. Some of these younger people that you guys think you're so hip because you're younger and you like to text. Do you have manners? Do you have skills with people? Or are you just like vomiting through your phone? Because that's vomiting through your phone. A proper text and as an introduction, you introduce yourself and state what you want. The same as if you're calling a business, you state your name and you say what you want before the secretary puts you through to the boss. The boss isn't going to talk to just anyone. They have screening standards, and so do we have to do as escorts, and our businesses have screening standards like, who are you? Why are you contacting me? What do you want? Okay, and that's incumbent upon the client that's calling. And if you didn't know this, I'm teaching you. And I do the same thing, The other day I had to have someone come out to repair my bed. That's a different story. I should tell you what happened there. But how this guy broke my bed. But I said, "Hey, this is Sharzat Morgan, I live here and I would like a bed repair. Are you able to help me with that?" Not just, "Hey, can you repair my bed?" Just like reveal a little bit about yourself. And now, if I used to be okay with the hate tax because I didn't know that I couldn't convert them into a real client, and I had to learn, that's why I'm sharing with you, to see how people show up from the very beginning. From the very beginning, they're going to show you who they are. It's not about changing someone. It's about seeing who they are and if you want that in your life. I have had occasions where I texted someone back, like yesterday, someone found my number in an old ad and texted me, "Hey," and I decided to just give it another try. And I just said, "Who is this?" And he said, "My name is so and so. I live in so and so. I'd love to see you." And I know he was looking at an old ad with old prices because my phone number is no longer in my ad. So I sent him the link for how to book me and never heard from him again because he was looking at an old ad. So I should have just blocked it right away. But every time I've tried to be nice or whatever, it's never worked out. So realize where you put your energy, and you don't, the time waster thing, for me was about, I don't want to keep getting annoyed. What do I have to do so I can feel loved and safe when people contact me? I want to feel loved and safe. I am not putting out any anger in my ads or my website. It's all love. So when you contact me, it has to feel loving, So just stay embodied. Like, how does this feel to me? Do I want this? Stay embodied. How does this feel? So I took my number on my ads, and I hardly ever get a time waster anymore in my escort business. But it can still happen. It can still happen. Today, I had some guy at 1 a.m. disputed a deposit charge. It's the first time I've had a credit card deposit disputed. He said it was fraud. He said his card was stolen, I guess. He didn't say service not received. He did it as fraudulent use of his card. Well, I have all of his tax, and you do have to enter your credit card information on my website. So I disputed it. I'm like, I don't care. I'm not going to let this. He was a no-show. So he was a time waster, and I didn't like draw him into my life or attract him into my life, But then how do I want to respond? How do I want to show up? And what can I learn from this? So I think going forward with men under 30, I may ask them for a photo ID before I let them use the credit card deposit, or I'm just going to make them use something where they can't say it was fraud because deposits are non-refundable. Maybe I'll have them use an Amazon gift card, or maybe I'll use Bitcoin. I don't know, because I have a very good standing with the credit card processing company, and I don't want to lose that. And maybe I will lose that because they'll see I'm an escort and they may not want to keep running my credit card. I'm willing to lose that. So I had to kind of go, well, but I wasn't going to let this guy get away with the fraudulent charge thing. Like, I was just mad. I probably should have let it go and let him keep the deposit. So I don't know. Sometimes I don't know what to do. Anyway, back to Time Wasters. So I'm also on Bumble and I screen guys out. Today I got hooked in by a time waster just for an hour because this super hot guy showed up. It's like, oh my God. And he lives 4 miles from me. So very rare. Most of the guys on Bumble live like in Los Angeles. I do not know why they're matching up with me or swiping on me, because Bumble doesn't have that many people. So people start increasing their search radius, or maybe they're in town. I'm not going to date someone who's just in town. He was super, but I started out with kind of my profile is kind of heart-based. I like to think that I'm looking for a relationship, and so I just usually say hi, it's, such a pleasure to meet you. And then I want to see what they come out with. I want to see what the guy comes up with. And if he says, like the gentleman I met for coffee, if he says, oh, it's so nice to meet you as well. I was just out having some dinner with some friends. My week is going really well. How's your week going? He was sharing something about himself, what he was doing, and sharing how his week was going, then asking me how I was doing. And then I told him what I was doing and where I had gone to eat. We talked about restaurants, and he asked me about my coaching business, and he was interested in me. And he was a super gentleman. He had just come back. When I met him, he had just come back from doing a 2-week yoga retreat in Costa Rica. Like, he was a cool guy. And at the end of the coffee date, we gave each other a nice hug. He didn't try to kiss me, he didn't try to fuck me or anything. Like, he legitimately is a gentleman, someone that I would recommend to my friends for dating. But the guy this morning, this is going back to the time waster, his first message to me was, same here, you're absolutely stunning. Okay, so this is not a man who wants to date me. This is a guy who maybe thinks he wants to date, who has some walls around his heart, or he just wants to fuck me. He did not show up as a guy who wants to date. And I knew it, but I got a little caught off course. So I said, what are you looking for? I gave him another chance. What are you looking for? I gave him another chance. And he said, well, I'm not looking for a one-night stand. I want many nights. I'd like to get off this app. That doesn't sound vulnerable or revealing to me. He didn't ask me anything about me. I don't even think he read my profile. He looked at my photos. So I told him exactly what I'm looking for, to be a contribution and to do great work in the world together. And I still didn't hear from him. And I said, if you're just looking for a hookup, you're wasting you can unmatch me, because it's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. I didn't hear from him for a little half hour, and I thought, he may not have read it. He may have gone to the gym. I don't know. But I started feeling this anxiety I feel around, I have to get this guy to like me, or, I started realizing that he didn't show up. And I want to tell you, some of the things that have helped me are other women. I want to thank, there's a woman whose videos I watch, Tranquility. She's in a new relationship, and her guy really pursued her. She makes videos about how the guy should be pursuing. I think about this dating coach, Catherine Daniele, whose homecoming course I just bought. And the first message that her now husband sent her on the dating site, Match.com, was 5 paragraphs long. And he was hoping she would reply. So when they just throw out a, you're stunning, that's fuckboy talk, or I'm unavailable talk. So he's a time waster. Okay, so it's up to us to decide, like, how do I want to feel? How do I expect a man to talk to me? because if I kept so I ended up unmatching this guy. I'm like, he's a time waster. I gave him 2 chances, and he hasn't shown up with anything that makes me think he's interested in me as a person, or he's interested in building a partnership, or that he wants to get to know me. He just talked about the fact that I was stunning and he wants to spend the night with someone. Um, Now, perhaps with a woman where he feels like this is going to be my wife, he might show up differently, but I kind of doubt it. I would say he's 39, still never married. He might have some walls up. And I know there's a gal, a subscriber on here who talks about how we have to teach men how to treat us. And I want to say I look for how they show up. If you're dealing with a really young guy who wasn't taught well, but who can be teachable, he might need to learn to, okay, I need to have a plan when I ask a woman out. I need to, you know, be considerate of her feelings, like some basic skills. But by the time a man, I would say my sons already have these skills in their 20s. By the time the men I'm dating, I don't want to teach you shit. I don't want to teach you shit. If you're a project, I'm not interested. If I have to teach you something, I'm not interested. The only thing I want to teach you is my preferences on food, you know, or exercise. The only things I want to share with you are things I enjoy or things I might want to do, but I don't want to teach you how to treat a woman. I don't want to treat you how to be relational, how to be intimate. I'll teach you what I like in bed, but I don't want to teach you that you should care what I like in bed. I don't want to teach you that a woman needs warm up before sex. I don't want to teach you that you ought to be on time. I don't want to teach you any of that. Show up. Okay, so that's a boundary for me. So I would say if you, and I think some people like the drama of having time wasters in their life because there's a lot of energy that comes out of being angry. Because feeling angry can be a lot more pleasant than feeling sad because there's a power in it. I'm angry. And maybe some people like that. They need that power from being angry at the world or something. Like, if you want to eliminate time wasters from your life, I'm going to recommend that you start to feel like embodied. Like, how does this feel and do I want this? And if you don't want it, just figure out how you can get rid of it, honestly. So with my escort business, my phone number is not in my ads. And I have a booking form so I can get all your information. And so I screen out for people who legitimately want to see me. In my dating profile, I have, again, an inviting profile up. It's an invitation to the party, just like the escort ad. It's an invitation to the party. I want to say one more thing. To avoid getting time wasters, we have to share vulnerably who we are and what we want. I'm committed to. I value this. This is how I see it, I see us doing together. This is the kind of relationship. This is my vision for my life. This is my vision for my relationship. This is what I believe in. These are my values. This is what I enjoy. Like, be vulnerable and share so you can attract those people. Because if I just throw up some photos and say looking to date or, make an appointment with me, I'm going to attract everyone. I want to attract people who resonate with me. And when I'm vulnerable at that level, I'm only going to accept people who are also vulnerable. So, and who show up. One area, and so with the dating, I look for how are they writing to me? Does it, a guy that was a huge time waster was the guy who messaged me, I love to please. You're such a goddess. No, I want to see something substantial from you before I'm going to start engaging. And so it's about learning. Just give yourself a break. Like, I'm so good at learning about time wasters and learning about it. Don't judge yourself if you've attracted time wasters. Like, just be nice to yourself. Like, I'm so good at attracting time wasters and I'm so good at learning what I want. I'll just share with you one area I am struggling with a little bit, and feel free to leave your comments for me. Is I like to have standards and boundaries, but I don't want to be like, have this superiority attitude. You know, in all relationships, I think it's really important to be face to face, not feeling one up or feeling one down. And so I want to be in this face to face. And sometimes, and this could be my childhood programming too, is I think I have to be nice to people. If, you know, how I do want a man to pursue me, but then I think I have to be nice to them because over the app and over messaging, it's really hard to read body signs and signals. Like in real life, I could smile at a guy and he would see that I'm interested. But on the app, you know, it's hard to communicate that, and they have to feel and should feel some kind of receptivity or interest from me to make them want to pursue me. So I don't ever really know how much to hold back or how much to be excited. That's where I'm still kind of like trying to figure that out. Like, oh yeah, I'm the prize, you know, you should just pursue me. Well, the man is the prize too. And since I work with a lot of men and I see that they feel lonely too and they have feelings too, I have a lot of compassion for them because I know a lot of guys are home alone, just sitting home alone, and they get super excited when a woman has matched up with them, you know, and then if she's just like, well, what are you going to do for me? Or just unmatches him right away, it can be sad for him too. So I have maybe a little too much empathy for the guys. After I match with them, I don't like to unmatch them. I think that I'm hurting them somehow. So I'm trying to find that fine balance. You know, when you initially meet someone, you can't be so rigid. You have to be friendly and be able to banter a little bit. So I'm still trying to get my bearings because I'm not used to flirting or meeting guys online for dating. So I'm still trying to kind of work out how to make that. But I would say that I have not attracted any time wasters in my escort business or my dating business, since I started feeling safe in my heart, sharing who I am, and expecting men to show up at the level at which I'm showing up. And more like, how do I feel rather than what I think, just being embodied. So I'm a clearing for people who show up. So I don't have these time waster rants for you guys anymore. I'm just a clearing now for people who show up. One more thing too, if you start noticing people who waste your time, start noticing where you waste your time, where you need to show up more for yourself in terms of like daily practices or daily commitments to yourself. Even if it's just like, I'm going to drink a glass of water first thing in the morning. I'm not going to touch my phone for the first half hour in the morning, you know, or like a song you want to sing or a new song you want to play or something you want to clean or a bill that's been unpaid or some papers you need to file or a car you need to wash or just like sitting and being by yourself or going for a walk. Like, where am I wasting my time? Where am I wasting my energy? Because the world outside reflects who we are. Where do I need to feel my value more? And just being really embodied. And then from that place of being embodied, it can be like, well, how does this resonate with how I'm showing up for myself? But again, too, I think other people can be very helpful. And for women, I really recommend a community and network of women. For men, so important to have a network and community of men. And like I said, between Tranquility and Catherine Daniele, I was thinking about that, both of you this morning. Catherine Daniele doesn't watch my videos. I think Tranquility does. And thinking about you guys this morning, as I was thinking about this hottie that I was like, I want this guy to, I would love to have a relationship with this guy. Not just sex, I really want to explore like real intimacy and connection and being like, tell a guy, just hold me, you know? Out of just the desire to receive, not even out of a neediness, but some need, yeah. And I was thinking, this guy's not showing up as my vision of what I want because of how they talk about their guys. So I'm like, I'm going to unmatch this guy. And that's where it's so good for women, for us to support each other. If you have any other topics for videos, you can email me or leave it in the comments, because I really like making videos. I really like it because I think a lot of it is too, it's a way for me to be seen and for me to express myself, because I live alone. Yeah, let me scan my apartment. I live alone, and I tend to not really call people to talk to them. I don't know if I feel like I don't want to bother people, or people are busy. That could be my own stuff. And so making these videos, I can express what's on my mind, what's on my heart. And sometimes I don't even upload them. You know, I just feel better for having shared vulnerably somewhat. And so I make them for myself, to be honest. Someone told me the other day, I make such good videos. I don't have a lot of subscribers. I don't. I figure if they're that good, more people would watch them. But I'm not on here to get people to watch them. I'm here to just share what I want to share, you know, with no real agenda that I'm aware of. Other than just wanting someone to listen to me, I guess. I guess I like knowing that there is somebody who wants to listen to what I have to say. You know, that's really nice. That's why I make these videos, because it's the part of me that feels like, okay, there's some subscribers, they leave comments, and they're interested in what I have to say, and I feel like I have something to say. I want to be seen, I want to be heard, and there are people who want to see me and hear me. And that's very satisfying to my heart. And I watch other people's videos, I listen to them. And if you might want to try that on too, is making videos to share what's on your heart, or finding a friend to share what's on your heart. But honestly, with friends, I don't have anyone that'll listen to me talk for 27 minutes uninterrupted. Like with friends, it's more conversational. So the only place I would have to do this kind of sharing would be if I would pay someone, like a therapist or a coach. And so this is kind of my therapy, I guess. This is my therapy. I discover things, I come up with things, and I just like being in that flow of sharing. Couple things I really crave, and this is the opposite of time wasters, is I want to find some women's circles either in San Diego, or maybe I'll go to Costa Rica to do like a little retreat. I want to be held and supported like that and see what comes up for me. So that's a desire I have. And that's the opposite of time wasters. And I've been nourishing my friendships with women. I have so many more women as friends, and that I see face to face, not over texting. Like we get together and we talk and we share. But not in those long sessions, yeah. Anyway, I forgot what the other thing was that I was really feeling into I wanted, but the women's support to me just sounds really awesome. And I have great women in my life, and I want more great women in my life. Yeah, so it's just about sharing. Oh, 12-step meetings. That was the other one. I'm not an alcoholic, so I don't feel like I can go to them, but I love the honest sharing. Like, I don't have any addictions. Like, there's no reason for me to go to them anymore, but I love the honest sharing that goes on in those meetings, and I would love to see groups where people share honestly and vulnerably, because I do watch a lot of YouTube videos, but I don't really find ones where people share honestly and vulnerably like I do. I haven't seen any. If you know any other than Tranquility, for example, let me know. And thank you for watching my video.